Hello everyone, welcome to our asynchronous VC for Module 6, Unit 2. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here and we'll take a look at our objectives for the day. Our objectives today include discussing the differences between goals and objectives. Then we're going to go ahead and take a look at the necessary elements of a unit plan. But first, let's start out with our opener. Our opener today you can find by clicking on the collaborative slides that are also in the email. They're linked there. And when you get there, it should look like this. So the first slide looks like this. You can go ahead and ignore this one until a later date. Hopefully that foreshadows some fun that's coming. Up next, you've got this slide, but we're going to go ahead and take a look at slide 3. So our opening question today is, find a GIF that best describes your feelings on unit planning. So I've got mine right here. And just in case you've never added a GIF to a Google Slides document before, I'm going to go ahead and walk you through how to do that. Both of these links right here, I'll go ahead and highlight these so you can see them. Right here and right here. Both of these will take you to a GIF website where you can search and explore different GIFs and find one that best meets your feelings on unit planning. If you are one of those extraordinary people in China struggling with a VPN, you can just go ahead and search any old GIF website and borrow it from there, but the process is going to look the same, and I'm going to walk you through that right now. So first step to this would be to click on one of these handy links or search it on your available browser in China. And then once you're here, you can go ahead and type in some key feelings. So maybe teaching is a good one to get some teacher-related stuff, maybe teacher planning. And then find something that maybe suits your feelings on this. I personally enjoy planning, but I definitely am super in the moment with it when I do it. So I think I'm going to go with this sort of Zen brain pop one here. So the way you choose it, once you find one that you like, you can hover your mouse right over this link button, click that, and it'll copy the link to your clipboard. Or you can click on the GIF that you like, select this little share icon, and then copy the link this way. Either way is suitable. And then you're going to go back to our collaborative slides. And this is the most important step. So if you zone out during a lot of what I'm saying, try and focus on this one to master this task. You're going to click on Insert, by Image, by URL, and then this little tab will open up asking for your URL address, and then this is where you're going to paste the link that you've just copied. At this point, you can click the little Insert button, and it'll pop right up on your page, and then you can adjust this down to size so it fits neatly in the sticker chart. Ta-da! And then you're done with this portion. And actually, by the time everybody gets theirs in here, it should be a pretty fun and exciting page to check out. Thank you for doing that. And also, if you prefer, you can go ahead and pause this video and tackle that task right now. That way it kind of feels more like moving through the VC more naturally. All right. Next step is we are going to discuss the difference between goals and objectives. So one thing that I want to let you know is I've got all of these collaborative slides broken down into age groups. So if you are a teacher that teaches pre-K and kindy, you're going to be working on slide 4 here. If you work with elementary learners, you're going to be working on slide 5. If you work with middle school students, you're going to be working on slide 6. And if you work with high school or adults, you're going to be working on slide 7. Now, if you refer to the email that I sent you 2 articles on the differences between goals and objectives. You don't need to do a deep read on either of these articles. Just go ahead and peruse or skim through both of those to get kind of the gist of the difference between goals and objectives. And then paraphrase what you've learned and go ahead and add this information to the slide. So once you've got this slide open up and you're ready to share an idea, you can just click on the text and add your thoughts. Just like that. All right. And if you feel free to pause the video and go ahead and tackle this task. Excellent. All right, so after this, we've got another activity. If you refer to the email I left to you or I sent you, you're also going to see unit plans attached to different age groups. So again, I've got this work divvied up by age group. If you are pre-K or kindy, you're going to be working from slide 8. If you are an elementary school teacher, you're going to be working with slide 9. I've got a sample here that shows you how you can add your names so I know who collaborated in each group. So you can go ahead and add your names in this little section here. If you are working with middle school learners, then you're going to be working on slide 10. And if you're working with high school or adults, you can go ahead and work on slide 11. So when you go ahead and look back at that email, you're going to choose the unit plan that corresponds with the age group that you're going to be working with today. You're welcome to choose any age group that you'd like to work with, maybe based on who you can be partnered with to work on this, or maybe which age group you would like to be teaching or currently teach. It is up to you to choose your age group. But go ahead and select a unit plan from the email. And once you've got that selected, I want you to hunt through that unit plan, and I want you to maybe make a note of any objectives that you see listed in that unit plan. I think what maybe is fair here, since this is asynchronous, if everyone can come up with one, then that would be suitable. Everyone for one person, one objective per person. And that would work out. And so then obviously there might be some incentive to go ahead and go first, because it might be easier to find the most obvious objective. And then the next thing you're going to be doing is adding any assessments or activities you see. So again, this can be just one observation per person. So if you note any assessments in the unit plan that you're taking a look at, you can go ahead and jot down what you see. If you notice any fun learning activities, you can go ahead and jot down one of those as well. So this is just one either assessment or activity to complete this task. And you can go ahead and pause the video and complete that task if you'd like. All right, once you've completed these couple of things, our goals and objectives Venn diagram, and once you've identified a few objectives and activities from the unit plans that you've just explored, you are good to go. So I have just one last exit ticket question for you, and I'm going to add a slide right down here for you to share your ideas. But what is a lesson unit plan topic that you would like to explore and create for your own learners? So an example could be maybe the water cycle. Maybe you'll do a teaching unit on the water cycle if you're maybe a 3rd or 4th grade science teacher. Perhaps I do a lot of themes like animals. We might do like a week of animals and talk about different animal habitats, sounds animals make, the movements animals do. Again, I teach English as a second language, so the learning goals there would be maybe how we can talk about what animals can or cannot do, so we could practice that verb tense. Or even use descriptive language to describe what an animal looks like. The giraffe is tall, the alligator is long. Things like this. All right, so go ahead and share your idea for a unit plan that you look forward to creating this week, and you can drop that in as your exit ticket on slide 12. All right, once you're done with that, I'm just going to go ahead and do a quick recap on this this week's activities. I'm going to go ahead and open up my screen here to our platform. This week it is Unit 2, and we've got unit planning. We've got 3 activities here, but let me give you the heads up. Activities 1 and 2 are actually the same thing. You are going to be working on a single document for both activity 1 and 2 here. And this is going to be the unit plan. So if you've just completed your exit ticket on slide 12, then you might already have an idea of a unit plan topic that you can work on. So let me go ahead and open this up. Once you've got this goals and objectives activity opened, and you look at our activity resources, this one right here, this Teach Now unit plan template, this is going to be the resource you need to get you through activities 1 and 2 this week. So go ahead and open that up. And the reason it's broken into 2 activities is because there are some very specific learning targets that we have for you in the first half and the second half of this unit plan template. So if you take a look at this first section, activity 1, you're really spending a lot of time developing your goals and objectives. So I know you've probably already checked out the article on the differences between goals and objectives, but some of the main differences include that your goal is going to be a larger scale, more overarching concept. Generally, for a unit plan, I would recommend having 1 to 2 goals. Goals should also be SMART, and if you remember back to Module 3, SMART goals mean they are specific, measurable, attainable, relatable, and time-bound. Realistic, sorry, I got that R wrong. Realistic and time-bound, and it says it right here, and I tried to do that from memory. So SMART goals, specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-bound. On the other hand, your objectives are going to be more specific. So I like to think of objectives as the learning target for each lesson. So in a unit plan, let's say I believe you have to have a minimum of 5 lessons for this unit plan you're going to be building. You might have 5 or 6 or 7 objectives, and that could be maybe you have 1 or 2 objectives per each lesson. I generally try and do 1 objective for each lesson, but if you teach a more complex topic, maybe you might need to cover 2 different things, perhaps grammar and knowledge of animals. So then there might be 2 separate goals there, or 2 separate objectives, sorry. So again, this first half of the activity focuses a lot on your understanding of goals and objectives and completing those sections of the template appropriately. The other things to note, and I've actually got a cheat sheet for you right down here. I don't know if you noticed from our Unit 1 activities, but I always supply a bit of a cheat sheet attached to every activity. That way you can refer to it and see any specific notes that I have for you. So here I've got the cheat sheet cohort discussion. I'm actually counting our participation on the VC slides as our discussion forum participation. So you can go ahead and bypass the discussion forum for this week on activity 1 because we've already covered the question here in our VC slides today. The second thing here is you're going to complete the unit plan using this unit plan template. Please make sure that you adjust your privacy settings to allow comments because we're also going to be doing a peer review and we're going to be using the Google commenting feature for our peer reviews, which is here in my final note for this peer review. The peer review is meant to focus directly on the development of goals and objectives for this unit plan. Please leave your review within the commenting tools of Google Documents. If you can't use the Google commenting tools for any reason, then you can go ahead and review on the comments section of your peer submission page here on the platform. All right. If you have any questions about the first half of this activity, feel free to email me. I will be available. I do have internet while I'm at the airport. I just didn't want to commit to doing the class and then have to board the plane while I'm there. All right, and let's move on to activity 2, which is the second half of our unit planning template. The reason it's a second activity is because there are different learning targets for the second half of the document. So for this one, you're going to be focusing more on the development of your assessments, your lesson descriptions, your differentiation strategies, and including next steps. So if you remember, I get a lot of questions about what next steps mean. This is included in the document, the template, so you do kind of get a brief descriptor there. But if you look back at the curriculum map that you created this last week, the next steps and remediation was a section that you covered. So you've actually already done the groundwork for this. You just need to expand a bit on what the next steps of following up on a unit would be like. At what point in a summative assessment would you offer more remediation? How might you integrate regular review into future units? And then again, here is another peer review using the same Google commenting feature. So let's backtrack there. Logistically, you've got to complete this one template for activities 1 and 2, and both activities 1 and 2 require a peer review. So if you want to save time this week, I would recommend knocking out the entire template in one shot rather than completing the first half, submitting, and then completing the second half and submitting, and then completing your peer reviews just once. That way you can go through and find 1 or 2 partners to comment on their work, and then you can cover your bases for both activities rather than doing 2 peer reviews for this activity and then 2 peer reviews for the next activity, and being in different mindsets, because that would be more time consuming. So just make sure that you cover your bases for both activities 1 and 2 in your peer review comments, and you can actually save some time and knock all those out in just two peer reviews total. And again, if you need some clarity on what I'm describing here with the peer reviews, feel free to email me. There's one more activity this coming week, and it is another video annotation. So just like the one we did last week, where not only are you annotating these videos, but you are also leaving an overall feedback section that includes your personal reflection of how you may or may not utilize some of the strategies you saw in the video, as well as your overall strengths and weaknesses, and any suggestions that you might make for that teacher moving forward. So again, for this one, recap, we're just going to be completing the video annotation and making sure that you evaluate the video, describe your evaluations, and reflect on the techniques that you might use in your own lesson. All right, if you have any questions on this activity, please reach out to me via email. All right, and that concludes everything that I have for you today. I hope that you have a wonderful week and enjoy your asynchronous Saturday. I'll see you next week. Toodles.